Yeah, we are live on the radio. Great to have you with us on a Saturday. Every Saturday, we carve out 2 hours of infotainment for you, and hopefully you're there to consume it. Where? Oh, maybe on 92.1 or 101.7, the old terrestrial radio. We appreciate you being with us on a Saturday morning. We're worldwide on your free download, your iHeartRadio app. Thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. And of course, we got cameras set up in the studio. Why? Because we like to go live stream 2 platforms to choose from. Choose your adventure. Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. We go live stream on a Saturday. Thanks for being with us. And on YouTube as well. That's Florida Talk Real Estate LLC on YouTube, home of a ton of informational chunk videos and a 2-hour live stream on a Saturday morning. Great to have you with us. You can be a part of the show. 877-927-6969. Got questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate? Dial it up. You make the call, we'll take that call. The first voice you will hear is our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy. Good morning, my friend.
Hello, and good morning, Johnny. How you doing, bud?
Fantastical. Thank you very much for asking. I am your old buddy, your pal, Johnny C., your air traffic control. Let's get your starting lineup on a Saturday morning. It's always nice to say good morning to Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Good morning, Mike.
That's right. Good morning.
How are you?
In the house.
Did you get a haircut?
Yeah, actually I did last weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
So you cut a few of them.
Yeah, I cut all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I try to get all of them. Sometimes there's some stragglers they miss.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got them all cut.
Yeah. There was something I was like, that's a haircut. That's what that is.
I'm such a slacker with my haircuts. I go like, I don't know, 2-3 months, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, do it.
I just hate having to pay whatever I pay to go get my head shaved.
Totally
essentially.
understand.
I'm like, okay, what are we doing today? Number 4, all the way around, right? Okay, $60 later. I'm like, what? What happened? Because I have to do a beard trim at the same time. You know?
Well, it's hard damn work looking that good.
Oh,
Mike.
I know.
You know,
So much work.
Got to pay
So
somebody to do it. And I think it was maybe last weekend. I thought the same thing about Jimmy D. I was like, man, that's a haircut. I'm pretty sure.
Jimmy D is looking good.
Yeah, he has been.
You've been out in the sun, Jim.
He's been getting sun, but I know he's been working hard. But oftentimes success and just getting her done right will give you that glow. And maybe that's what Jimmy D's got.
Oh.
Of course, I've been telling you for 11 plus years, our fearless leader, Jim DePola, runs a top producing Keller Williams team, Keller Williams Innovations, the Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy South Florida. It was a beautiful day driving down here. Nice blue skies, fluffy clouds. Didn't look like it was like rainy clouds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Way to ruin that.
I'm going to do something that I already regretted as soon as I did it. I went ahead and bought the Nate Diaz Jake Paul
Boom.
event. And as soon as I clicked the button to pay for it, it's like, why did I just do that?
Sucker.
How much is that cost? What's the pay-per-view?
$60.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I bought
Baller.
last week's. What was last week's Poirier? I
that's
did the
a real
Poirier,
fight.
but that was good.
Yeah,
but
that's
that
a
was
shoot.
$80, and I had no problem
Well,
with that.
that's real. There's
Yeah.
nothing scripted about that.
Well,
There's not
that's
a
what Mike.
predetermined outcome.
Well, Mike was asking me off air if I had a prediction, and I said I don't even know if it's real or not.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, you think the fight is rigged?
Oh yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's-
And who's going to win it then?
Jake Paul.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right.
Although he lost last time, which they had to make him lose something, right?
Well, he was an actual fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a setup.
Yeah.
Fury's not interested in just a money grab. He's like, no, we'll fight if you want to fight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And what happened when they actually went for non-money grab?
Yeah.
He didn't get the decision. did he?
Well, I saw one of the old crew from this station on interviewing for the bout tonight.
Josh.
Josh
Josh
was
Cohen.
there.
Yeah,
He was asking some
He's always
questions.
involved with the UFC
Yeah.
and their kind of ties,
Mhm.
right? So there's ties with Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
This is is Dazin, and
Yeah,
you know what his tie is too? I think Celsius is their tie.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think you're
Celsius
right.
is
I
putting
think
that
it's
fight on.
Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's out there, and I saw him interviewing. He wasn't wearing his pink suit, though.
Pink suit.
You never heard about that? The
Oh,
pink
that's a
suit
callback
guy?
to like one interview with McGregor.
Yeah, he
McGregor.
just
years
stood up
ago.
and he
Yeah.
said something that pissed Conor McGregor off really bad. And,
It's not that
and he was wearing this big, no, but it was a meme for a while. That's what I'm saying. It
gotcha.
was just a funny meme.
Gotcha.
And he was wearing, Josh always wears those very flamboyant clothes. So he was wearing this really bright pink suit jacket, and nobody knew who he was, and he got Conor so mad. It was probably all stage, but he got him so mad that everybody called him the pink suit guy, and he became a meme, and the video went crazy.
Gotcha.
That was a crazy one. That's what I'm saying. But he wasn't wearing the pink suit this time. But anyway, it's a beautiful day out, man. I've been all over this week. The Florida Home Pros. My team, we cover everything from basically Vero Beach down to Dade County, which makes us very unusual. So don't tell me if you're listening to this radio station or listen to this podcast, it's like, oh, I didn't know you worked in that area. We pretty much work almost everywhere.
Pretty much.
It seems like. And this week, I had some customers that called me. They're moving from South Carolina to Orlando, and they asked if I could help with that real estate transaction. So what I did was what I normally do. I went out and found some of the top agents from Keller Williams over in Orlando. I interviewed a whole bunch of them. Man, I knew in Orlando we would have a lot of top agents to choose from. Picked a really good agent. Her name is Sarah Harbor, with a U in the name, from Keller Williams, from the
Sarah with a U. That's weird. Huh?
yeah, Sarah Harbor.
Harbor.
And she's
English,
with the
A-U-R-A.
I think I can help out here with it.
she's with
Ham,
this
there's a silent M.
she's with the Scott team, and because these are personal friends of mine, not only did they select the person that from the group, but I drove up there and we looked at about 15 houses together over 2 days. I just wanted to get an idea of what was going on in the Orlando market, and because we help a lot of people in the Central Florida area, so I wanted to get a better idea. Man, that market is the same and different than our market down here. So we're going to talk about that a little later. That was kind of interesting. We had a lot of people that signed up in our business this week. So I was in Orlando this week. I was in Hallandale Beach yesterday, Lake Worth yesterday, and I was in Port St. Lucie the day before yesterday.
Did you go to Gulfstream when you were down in Hallandale?
I was close.
Shut
I
up.
was close there, and it reminded me when I was driving down there because I take the turnpike to 595 to the 95, and then this place was 3 miles from the Gulfstream. So I was like, oh, this reminds me. We used to go down there all the
Yeah,
time.
you should have popped by.
I was never a big fan of Gulfstream's poker room.
No,
No, I was never a really big fan of the poker room over there for some reason.
but the track.
Yeah, I don't understand track. I don't understand odds at all. So track has never been fun for me. It was more fun watching you and Greek gamble. That was the fun part. Mike, did you ever go down there with us for that? You were
Yeah, I
down
went
there
to a
for
couple of
that.
remotes down there.
Oh, yeah.
There was never any races happening while we were on air, and then I never made it to the poker room. But
Yeah,
I'm like you, like with the horse betting and
dogs or
like
whatever.
they don't do dogs
And
anymore, but
Nemo,
the Kennel
when
Club.
they used
I would
to.
watch them, but I never got a feel for how to bet that in any like
Mhm.
educated way. And
It's easy.
so
What's your favorite color?
yeah,
Number.
right.
We used to stand by what is that, the where
The paddock.
the paddock where
Yeah.
the horses come out, they
Yeah.
kind of circle around and they go back out to the track, right?
Yeah.
So we would just stand right there and like the horse would go by. I'd always bet on a gray. All right. I love betting grays. And then like this one time this horse came by and he winked at me. I
Oh,
swear to God, he winked at me. So I
Wow.
went and I bet the house on him.
And what
How do you
happened?
know
That's
it
what the
wasn't
wink was. You
What
gotta lose,
happened?
sucker.
He lost.
You gotta lose. sucker.
No, it's a lot of fun. We would always bet a lot of long shots. Or when I was in the Meadowlands up in New Jersey, right? So a buddy of mine took me there a couple times, and up there at that time of the year was the trotters, right? So the little guys that sit on the carts in the back.
oh yeah.
So we would go, and what we would do is every time we just wait to see what one sets off at 99-1, like a minute before post time, go run, put a couple bucks on them, and
Ever
if you
hit?
get, yep, one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this horse that
And I'll
winked
never
at you,
forget
was he like walking past you?
yeah, as he walked by, he kind of
So
went.
how do you know he wasn't blinking?
Well, I don't. That's why I lost.
Right? You couldn't see both sides of his head, right?
No,
He could have just blinked.
Yeah.
He's like,
He was blinking. I only saw one side.
You can
That's
wink
funny.
with both.
It is amazing.
Man,
though.
buzzkill.
Have you ever looked at one of the pro? I know Johnny has, but have you ever looked at one of the programs?
Yeah.
All the different number, like the
Yeah.
like what their last 3 races they've done, what this jockey has done. There's so much. I mean, you could bury yourself in information trying to figure out how
Yeah.
to
he's
how
a
to
mutter.
bet these horses. That's
His
why
mutter was a mutter.
you're almost better off just throwing a dart at it and
That's it.
trying to get lucky.
Well, that was the other thing it's common in like sports bookmaking is past performance, but past performance doesn't necessarily indicate what's going to happen
Sure.
today, right?
Sure.
So yeah, he's won his
tough
last 4 races,
Yeah.
and you know, whatever. It's like, does it really matter?
But what was the length of
Sometimes.
the track? Is he, you
Right,
know,
right.
it's
What was the weather
so
conditions?
wild. Yeah.
Conditions, yeah. Who was running next to him?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like you have a good
No,
like handle on how to win?
no.
Okay.
How to win?
Yeah.
Don't bet.
Don't bet.
Yeah.
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 Get a hot dog.
Yeah, and I never got a handle on that either. By the way.
Does the Greek still own that horse? I know at one
No.
point he owned a
No.
horse for a
He
while.
did, yeah, and it went. So he had stake on I think 2 different horses.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
say steak. Come on.
One got hurt and had to retire earlier than expected, and another one I think like had a semi-successful career before
Right.
retiring, like won a couple few races.
Yeah,
But yeah, he definitely got the bug. When we were down there a lot, he way had the bug.
yeah,
I'm sure he still has it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's just to own a part of a whole. Come on, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it is. It is kind of fun to do that. Hey, let's go. I know Mava's going to be super busy. I think
That's her
Mava's
on
on the
hold.
phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
so.
let's get her on her way
Let's
if you
do
don't
it.
mind.
Yeah, sure. I guess Mava's joining us with an open house today. Good morning,
She
Mava.
is.
You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How are you?
Hey, Mava.
Hi, Mava.
Are you a horse better?
What's a horse better?
Oh, were you listening? Were you listening
That's a
to
no.
us on?
She's
Yeah,
like,
that's
"No,
a
I
no.
don't listen to you
Solid
guys. You kidding me?
Like betting
Oh,
on
I
horse
heard you
racing.
guys. No, I'm not. Definitely not.
I was just
I'll
wondering.
probably lose all my money.
Yeah, I hear you.
They're
So-
counting on it.
So, Mava, you're going to be doing open house today. What time and where?
Yes, I am going to be doing an open house at 715 Glenridge Drive, West Palm Beach. That's right north of Forest Hill, south of Southern, on the east side of 95. And it is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. It is going for $345K, and it's about 800 square feet. It's a cute little home. It's just a short walk away from the intercoastal, a few miles away from the beach. But one of the greatest things about it is it does have a newer roof. So that means your insurance rates will probably be much lower than most everyone else. And it has a newer air conditioner. It's a very nice little home. I think some of you guys should come out and see it. Well, not you guys, but whoever's listening. I'm going to be holding it between 12:30 and 2:30 today.
So we're not invited.
Nope.
We're not invited. We're not
Not
allowed.
invited.
Mava's not letting
Nope.
us in.
You
Well,
guys.
Did you invite Mava to your fight event tonight?
No, I
Oh,
didn't
there you
invite her
go.
to fight
So,
event.
what do you expect?
Oh,
I'm
someone
sorry.
has my back.
She said, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Mava."
I said someone has my back. I didn't get invited to the fight.
Yeah.
I
I didn't get mine either, Mava. Don't worry. You know.
Well, I had regret as soon as I hit the button. I was like, as soon as I bought it, I'm like, why did I just do that? I think I watched something and I was like, oh, what the heck? I want to watch this
Yeah.
circus.
Why not?
Yeah,
It's only
why not?
money. Come
Yeah.
on.
Go make some more.
Exactly.
Mava, so you said from 12:30 to 2:30 today, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, one of the things I love this property is centrally located to 95, and it's also centrally located to downtown West Palm, so everything is pretty close to you, including there's a Publix like less than a mile away, I think. So
Right.
it's a really nice home. It's I forget what year it is. It's a 1949, I think. It's in it's in some of the houses in that area are designated as historic houses. This is not one of them, but it's really nice to walk through that neighborhood because of all the mature vegetation that's been there for 50 plus years.
Yeah.
And on top of it, some of the houses are just like cute little gorgeous gems of history from the 1920s, basically all the way to the 1960s.
And this is
The different types of houses.
so adjacent, right? I'm trying to picture.
Yeah, it's
where
so adjacent.
Right.
That's true. So there's multi-million-dollar homes within a stone's throw that are being built all around you over
Right.
there. That's going to be a very strong neighborhood over a long period of time. and it's a really great value right now at $345.
Big time.
Are there a lot of, like, just in that area, are there any vacant lots? Or is it all pretty much
Not
have?
really.
Not many.
Yeah.
I don't know of any vacant lots unless like the city's forced a structure that was so bad to be torn down or something like that. But there are people in that neighborhood that are buying houses just to tear them down and putting in the mega mansions.
Seems
in
like
there.
such a location.
It is.
Home,
It
right? The
is.
site too.
And what's weird about that neighborhood is still an 80 to 90 day neighborhood for sales. So when you put them on the market, they don't necessarily go super fast. They go, but it's a slower market over there.
Yeah.
And our house right now, I didn't check this week, but last week we were the cheapest home in that area. We're the lowest priced home in that area.
Huh.
So we're the value play in that area right now. So you got to check it out. 715 Glenridge. I'm sorry, is it Road or Street?
Glenridge Drive.
Oh, I had that wrong. 715 Glenridge Drive. Thank you, Mava. Mava will be there from
But
12. I'm sorry.
You had the year right. It was built in 1949.
Yeah,
You
that's-
remember that one?
Yeah. And it's got a really great big backyard. So if you want to expand the house, you can. If you want the pool in, you can do that. It's a very nice sized lot. And Mava will be out there from 12:30 to 2:30. So go out there and check it out. Mava, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Sell that
And
house.
sell that house.
Sell that house.
Yay.
Okay, and then when you're done with the open house, Mava, can you give me a call so we can go over some stuff for next week? Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you
Mava.
so much.
Good luck out there today. All the details posted on the Facebook page of Florida Talk Real Estate.
Correct.
Fantastic. That's Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. You can find the details of today's open house with Mava, and it's always nice speaking with her.
Wanted to go over some things. I wanted to do some shout outs because it was such a busy week this week. So I wanted to go over a couple of things, but also I want to kind of a lot of the things that are happening right now seems to be very trendy of what's happening in Florida as far as migration. What is it? I forget. Migration is coming in and emigration is going out. Is that correct? Immigration's coming in, migration's going out, I think, right?
No, okay.
What's
No.
when
I think you're thinking
leaving,
immigration and emigration.
emigration, right?
Yeah.
So emigration's when you're leaving,
Yes.
immigration's when you're coming in.
Yes.
So Florida's seeing a lot of that, but we only hear about the immigration part. We don't hear much about the emigration part.
Well,
And
it's
I
'cause
have
the-
some stats
The
in here.
numbers are weighted for the immigration part than they are the emigration part.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. And I've been noticing a lot of people leaving Florida
For different reasons.
for a bunch of different reasons. So a lot of the stuff that happened this week are a lot of different reasons why people are leaving Florida, and I thought that would be kind of interesting. I also have a study showing where families or household incomes, so sometimes it could be single, but a household income of $200,000 or more, where they're moving in the country. And there's some really good stats in here about this. Like Florida is ranked very high in that, of course. But
I wonder how quickly those regrets set in, though, for those people.
when you're saying,
I wonder how quickly those regrets set in, though, because
Well-
when you have the kind of money, you get to go wherever you want. And I think people really think Florida's awesome. And here's the ones that I wonder about, because we've all lived here long enough, and they're like, "Oh, it's so hot," and it's like, did you never visit here before you moved here? Ever? Like ever?
it's so funny there during COVID, when everybody was predicting that there would just be this mass financial migration from New York to Florida, all the financial firms would move down here. One of the financial guys said, the only problem I see with moving to Florida is that you have to live in Florida.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you're here, it's either all in love, or you're like, why did I move here?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of middle ground.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to talk about it because, it's stuff that the politicians don't want you to hear, is like the people leaving,
Sure,
right? They only want to hear about the good stuff about the people coming in,
of
right?
course.
So
Well,
it's
and,
kind
and,
of,
and really pick your politics too. Like if you think about California, all you hear is people leaving, but you don't hear about the people moving.
well,
Right.
yeah, that's
Right.
it. Well,
New
you're
York,
going to
you
find
only
today-
hear about the people leaving. You don't hear about the people actually moving.
well,
there.
you're actually we're going to
a lot
talk
of people are like, people are leaving. Let's go.
yeah.
That's the time to go.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that because the figures of net migration on the states, the top states, is very different than the gross migration to states,
Right.
and the numbers are very different. It's kind of interesting.
Well, headline grab or actual substance reading. Like there's two different beasts.
Yeah.
Right? You pick your adventure.
Well, it's it's a pick your reality kind of thing
Yeah.
with that. It's another pick your reality moment.
There's
but-
only one reality, but
Yeah, but
So
to Johnny's point, the headlines are always the Exodus.
Yep.
Right. The Exodus from
mhm.
whatever the state, but never the
real numbers.
So what's the opposite of Exodus?
Incudus.
Intradus.
I made up a word. I like it. Incudus.
Incudus. Entradus.
Yeah, I don't know.
on Florida Talk Real Estate.
So I want to do a shout out. So first of all, I want to shout out to a longtime listener, longtime customer, Muriel. She has decided that it's time for her to sell her home, sell her mom's home, both in Port St. Lucie, and they're moving to South Carolina.
All right.
They weren't exactly sure how they wanted to work out because it's very complicated. They need the funds from the sale of the homes down here to get what they want up there to make everything affordable with the higher interest rates.
Sure.
Right. So they already went up there and went house hunting.
But they get 2 property sales down
They
here.
have 2 sales down here.
Are they going into like multi-generational, multi-family type situation?
Kind
up
of,
there?
yes.
Oh,
That's kind
perfect.
of what they're looking for. So Muriel had worked with us in the past, and I'm trying to do teachable moments, and she knows other realtors, and she knows other realtors very well. But she decided to use our team. Thank you, Muriel, because we signed the agreements this week. She decided to use our team because she knows she's what she's trying to do, which is the typical seller buyer simultaneous close in 2 different states at the same time. We specialize in that stuff. So Muriel felt that with the complications that could arise, it would be good to come in our team. And one of the things that I love about this, Muriel's moving to South Carolina. Guess who has a license in South Carolina now to get mortgages?
Ooh, can I take
Yeah,
more than one guess?
Yeah.
More than one.
I might need 2.
I need to.
Is Mike Rao the guy we're
Yes,
talking about?
it is.
The mortgage
So-
guy from
That's
the
right.
mortgage firm?
That's correct.
That's right.
Now in South Carolina.
Yeah, I've for maybe I forget when I got licensed there. Probably 8 months ago, I think.
Yeah,
I
we
had an
got ready
opportunity.
for Daryl and Amy. Daryl and Amy eventually will, or did you do it even before
No,
that?
I
think you
I
did
had
it before that.
another past client who actually bought 3 properties up in South Carolina, and he
Oh,
financed 2 of them.
Nice.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
So, Mike, what states are you licensed in now? Because when we started, you were only in 2 states. You were, I think, in Florida and Georgia.
When we
or
started,
something,
it
or
was
Florida
Florida.
and Virginia.
Yeah, and then I've slowly, as opportunities present themselves, I would get licensed. So Georgia, so I'm Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, Colorado.
That's right, Colorado.
And I'm trying to
Why
think
do I
if
have
there's one more.
Alabama in my brain?
No, not Alabama.
Is it just mortgage
That's
firm in
because of
Alabama?
that one
We
family.
are, yeah. The mortgage firm is in Alabama.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yep. So, Muriel, thank you so much for trusting us to work on her, work on her 2 sales and then help her get financing for the place up in South Carolina. Unfortunately, she found a really good agent without me, so she's all set for looking for an agent up there.
That's good.
But we do specialize in helping place people with top agents all over the country, just like Gary and Kim from Orlando, who are coming from South Carolina to over here. Now, the next thing is JR. Do you remember JR called us last week? I don't
That's
know
my
if you remember
dude.
that. He
Yeah.
says to say hello.
Love that
Okay.
guy. His family.
JR and Maggie have decided that they're going to sell here in Palm Beach County, and they're going to be moving to Ireland. So,
Ireland.
yeah, Ireland, right?
Is this the JR I'm thinking of?
Yes. So
Wow.
no, not that JR.
Oh, okay.
No, not JR Ewing.
Okay.
Right, from Ewing and Ewing
Yeah,
Air. That's why
yeah.
I used his last name, because he has Ewing and Ewing Air. Love that firm and love that family. Maggie and JR. JR is just a nickname. He has a different real first name. But JR and Maggie met with them yesterday. Great family. House is really on point. As soon as they put it on the market, it'll probably be very, very desirable. We're going to talk about that because of the inventory. So anyway, they're selling and moving to Ireland. Why are they doing that? Their ties, exactly. Their ties to Florida have changed, and now most of their family is in Ireland. So it's time for them. They think it's a great time for them to go ahead and do it.
He told me he decided once I hung up my headphones and he couldn't listen to me every day, he's like,
Ah.
now
That's what
is
he
the
said.
time to move.
Oh, he had lots of questions about you when we were there. He's an awesome guy.
That's
And
what
let me
dude.
tell you, they
Maggie's
did a
awesome.
really nice house on the job. That house could be super popular
Yeah.
when we put it on the market. So they're leaving for personal family issues to be closer with their family, which actually is what Gary and Kim are doing from Orlando. They're moving from South Carolina to Florida in Orlando because they want to be close to their grandchildren,
Yeah.
grandchild. So that's a good thing.
The stuff that
And
matters.
then Chris, I met Chris by advertising one of our houses in Lantana. And Chris was a buyer and he came up to look at the house and he was thinking of buying it. And then we started talking and then he said he needed to sell a house down in South Broward County, Hallandale Beach. So we started talking. He felt comfortable and we signed a listing yesterday to sell his house in Hallandale Beach.
Nice.
And we're going to be helping him buy a house up here. Now, Chris is why is Chris selling and buying and staying in South Florida? What Chris does is he buys a house that needs repairs. He fixes it up to his standards. He stays there for a couple of years to comply with the capital gains situation. And then when he feels the timing's right, he sells the house and moves on to his next project.
Oh.
So now he's looking for his next project. And that's why Chris has decided to buy and sell in this market. It was very tough struggle for him because he has a very low interest rate on the house he has now. But he felt that overall, weighing all the pros and cons of everything, it's best to get out right now. Grab some of the money that he sunk into the house, reap those profits, and then move on and get into another property.
Sounds like he's pretty sharp. He knows his numbers. I'm sure he's in a pretty good position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really did. And
I came across a listing yesterday, Jim, where they were advertising the assumability of the existing FHA loan.
Nice.
So somebody's on to your plan there.
Mike, we're going to talk about that later later on the show because you weren't here when I told you what happened when we tried to do the assumability with Juan and Saray.
No, he wasn't, but we caught him up the week after.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, because I still want to talk about that because that was very disappointing. Not about you, but just the process was very disappointing. And I wanted to find some insider tips about that, like really what's happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
When you're trying to do assumability, because when we try to assume offer that low interest loan to somebody.
Yep.
The second mortgage was so high that it blew out the benefits on the first mortgage. And I have a feeling that was done because it wasn't planned and put together the right way on the other side. So I wanted to talk to you about that.
Sure, we can talk about it.
Okay. But before we do that, because we only got a couple minutes before the break, where we are at 9:27 or something like that. Okay, I wanted to talk about one of the things I experienced when I went to these houses, Chris's house and Muriel's house this week. Amazing curb appeal on all three of the houses had amazing front curb appeal and backyard appeal. And I remember walking up to these houses and I remember going to Muriel's mom's house, Linda's house, and actually had a big smile on my face. I couldn't help it. Just walking up to the front door to knock on the door because it was so landscape right. All the beds, they had nice planters. All the plants were in perfect condition, super healthy. All the beds were weeded, had the right kind of groundscaping there. And, little Chotsky stuff like American flag and, suns or whatever to make you feel Florida and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, anybody looking for a house right now with this kind of inventory and they have curb appeal like these houses,
set them apart.
Oh my gosh, as soon as you're opening up the door, the buyers are probably getting their hopes pretty high that this might be, quote, the one. Okay. Yeah.
I was going to say off the top of my head, it just makes you think they take care of their house.
Exactly. As soon as you see that, the first thing you think of is these people, if they're taking care of their yard like this, that the inside, like the changing the air filters and the air conditioning, make sure you don't have a leak under your sink that's going to hurt your base cabinets, that kind of stuff. If something's broken, they're probably going to fix it, right? It really just kind of tells you, hey, we kind of got it together on this house. And the funny part is some of these houses were not completely like super macked outy on the inside. They were super clean, right? Totally marine clean, I call it, right? But really just gave you good feelings. And I'm like, wow, these people are just from the landscaper are probably going to get higher offers just because psychological people got a good feeling on the house.
Sure.
So I'm just telling you guys out there, if you're thinking of selling your house, actually taking the effort to make it nice, you're going to get a payoff in this market. And we are going to talk a little bit about changes of inventory and stuff after the break. But before we talk about that after the break, we're going to talk about interest rates right now.
Before we talk about that,
I know,
after the break.
I know.
That's
I'm
awesome.
doing a gym dyslexia thing. So on the flip side, we're going to be talking about interest rates because it's starting to become a little bit of news again, I think, in a way, in my opinion. And we're talking about mortgage rates, and we are also going to talk about one of the areas in South Florida that is becoming again super desirable for people, and we're going to talk why.
Okay, excellent. Lots to get into, and it is a quick break as usual. Quick little reset. We get back at it. So if you want to jump on board right now with a question, comment, concern, go ahead and do it. 877-927-6969. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, I totally understand. Florida Talk Real Estate is .com, your one-stop real estate shop. You can reach out on Facebook, lots of information to consume on YouTube as well. But FloridaTalkRealEstate.com is an easy one to remember and share. It's access to the entire team. Pros. We call it your one-stop real estate shop for a reason. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Know it, use it, love it, and share it. Back in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
We'll be your friend. Follow us at Real Radio 92.1 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
From the Gordon and Partners Weather Center. Have you or a loved one been injured through no fault of your own? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. Mostly sunny, hot, and humid for the start of the weekend, with afternoon highs in the low to mid-90s, though feeling like the triple digits. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue through this afternoon with potential for heavy rainfall and frequent lightning, then partly cloudy, warm and muggy again tonight.
This report is sponsored by Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. You wouldn't drive a car under the influence, so why would you operate a boat? The FWC wants to remind you that operating a boat while impaired is just as deadly as driving a car and carries the same penalties. Be as safe at sea as you are on land. Visit myfwc.com for more info.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
Real Radio 92.1. We are an iHeart radio station. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yeah, there it is, 877-927-6969. That is a toll-free number. You want to jump in with your questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate? Be a part of the conversation that's happening? Well, go ahead and dial it up. Jimothy, our producer extraordinaire, he'll answer that thing, and he'll get you going. What's up, my brother?
Hello, and good morning.
Good morning. I'm your boy, Johnny C., your air traffic control, your old buddy, your pal. Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm, is with us on a Saturday. Hello, Michael.
He is. Hello.
And of course, Jimmy D is here, our fearless leader. For 11 plus years now, I've told you he runs the top producing Keller Williams team. Keller Williams Innovations. You find the Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy D, how you be?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. If you
Fearless.
have any questions about real estate at all, refis, mortgages, understanding about that, insurance questions, buying a house, selling a house, moving out of the area, moving in the area, give us a call. We'd love to take your questions live on air today, just like JR did last week. And next thing you know, I'm sitting at his house a few days later talking about understanding his home selling process and the timing of it. And it was a really great conversation, and I feel like they walked away with a lot of great information, and we'll be working with them in the future.
I forgot did he say he was buying in Ireland, or is he going to have a place to live, family?
This is the funny part. I said, I'd love to help you get an agent in Ireland because I've never done an out of country referral before, and they were like, the hamlet or the place that they're staying in is so small that there's literally zero inventory. And then if somebody's moving out of the area, or somebody passes or something, it doesn't really go on the market. It just gobbled up right away. So what they're going to be doing is staying at a relative's house, waiting for a house to open up. So I said to her, well, let me try to find you an agent out there. I'd love to see that, work that out for you. And she goes, well, there's only one agent we know of in that area. So what do you think the agent's name is in Ireland? This made me laugh, right? Now, I have Irish blood in me, so I'm not being racist or anything or discriminatory, but I just thought it was funny. So what do you think the top agent out there is named?
Siobhan.
Patty.
Seamus.
Yeah, I know, right?
Seamus,
it's a woman. I think. Oh, now I
sorry,
now that I'm
now you
saying
forgot.
it. Yeah, I know the last name. I want to say it's Shirley. Does Shirley sound like that? Doesn't sound Irish.
It doesn't.
No, it started with an S though.
I would go Margaret.
No, but last name Fitzpatrick, and the first name was very Irish too. I can't remember it now.
Was it the one I said, Siobhan? Like
no,
spelled kind of funny?
no, I know what you mean, like SIOB.
Yeah.
No, not that one. But I can't remember anyway. But I think
she
it
with
was
Keller
something
Williams?
Fitzpatrick. No, I don't know. But
Can you do Keller Williams in an Irish accent?
no, I can't
you,
do any
Johnny?
accents for anything. I'm terrible on accents.
Keller?
It ends up sounding Australian.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Me Lucky Charms over here.
Keller.
You got to keep it like short and sweet for sure. No, I'm going to say no.
Mine is Jersey Irish.
I got a good buddy. He's Irish. I could get him to tell us how to say it.
When I can do a little Kona, but
Yeah.
I end up getting I have to use the F word.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you could say that. FOOK.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could say
On the radio,
FOOK.
it doesn't sound good. Jimmy
can't
will be
say
like,
that?
nope, no.
Dumb.
Rhymes with took.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You can't say that word?
Mm.
She probably could. You probably get away with it.
Can you say fork?
Believe it or not, you can say any word you want. It's
Oh,
whether or
that's
not
right.
somebody complains to the FCC.
That's the brass
Oh.
tacks, right?
I
Like with
see.
anything, you
Yeah.
get caught.
Hey,
Because if you don't get caught, you're good to go.
I think I just heard Jimothy give us permission. Curse
Feels
on the
like it,
air,
right?
right?
I still have control.
Exactly. So I want to talk about interest rates for a little bit because
Speaking of fork,
we are, yeah, I know, right? We are at a high, almost a high point for the year. At one point we got to 696 sometime in the year a couple months ago. I think it was July or June or May. And now we're at 6.9. We were at 6.81 last week. Now we're at 6.9. We keep coming close to that 7 again.
Yeah.
And so, and I heard a report that that interest rates were significantly higher than the 6.9 the Freddie Mac report in real life. And they're saying, like, the Mortgage Daily Business News or something was saying it was the highest interest rate in many, many years. But I was a little surprised about that.
I think so. The reason that you use Freddie's report is because it's the same thing every week, right? It's
Consistency.
consistent.
Right.
So when you start throwing other charts or other regional information, it kind of takes away from the importance and what I think is real about Freddie's report. So yeah, I mean, we know that when it comes down to individual borrowers, not everybody's going to get that number that Freddie says, because Freddie's reporting the average 30-year fixed rate loan that was written last week. Right. They no longer report like points and fees, but you got to think it's around a point, right? So they're basically saying the average, rate that was written last week was 6.9. That's that came out on Thursday, and they're probably costing about a point.
They're kind of prime-ish, aren't they? They're like really doing like higher end average, aren't they?
Well, I don't know. I haven't looked into. I'm assuming it's the average.
Okay, so it's all mortgages average. I thought it was a prime-based average.
So this is 30-year fixed rate conventional mortgages that are underwritten by Freddie, right? I'm assuming that's what it is. I don't know if they're looking at Fannie loans, but maybe they do a poll of all loans. But I'm sure it's conventional loans, right? It takes into account all the different down payments. Some are 5% down, some are 50% down,
50.
whatever.
Okay.
So it's the average. So everybody's rate is going to be unique to them, because the rate that you ultimately end up with is based on loan to value, so your down payment amount compared to the loan, and your credit score. And there's other factors, like condos are going to have a little bit of an adjustment versus something non-condo. So, it's just, but it's a barometer because it tells us which way it's going, what direction it's going. It doesn't mean you're going to go out there and get a 6.9. You could get 6.75. You could also get 7.25.
Like a snowflake in a way. Every situation is different. Is that what you're saying, Mike?
I don't think they're all different. You're going to fit into a box.
Yes, you are.
Right? You're going to fit into a box, but you and 1,000 other people are in the same box. But your box is different than my box.
Gotcha.
Right? You stay in your box.
Which is so important to understand your numbers or know your numbers in today's market, which is one of the things that's great about working with Mike, because he has that quick calculator, which is very, very accurate compared to just looking at a mortgage calculator that you see on the Flotsam Jetsam on the internet. You know what I mean? And knowing your numbers is really important in today's market because of the fluctuation in the interest rates again now.
Yeah, and we're watching it just kind of in general, because we're saying, well, which way are the rates trending? It's topical, right? It's like something to keep on top of in our business. But as an individual consumer, it's important for you, not because it tells you what your rate is, but it does tell you, like, hey, if you're a shopper and this week rates have bumped up slightly from last week, you know that your purchasing power has been impacted by that, right? If your max qualifying payment is $2,800 a month, right? You're going to arrive at $2,800 at 7% at a different time, different purchase price than you're arriving at $2,800 if you're 7.25, right? It impacts your ability to qualify at the very top end of your price point.
So let me ask you this too, because this is very important for seller buyers. Okay. So let's say I have a seller and they need a longer closing than a traditional closing, which is about 30 days. Okay.
Yeah.
And they need a longer time. So let's say they need 60 days to close.
Okay.
Let's say the buyer isn't going to buy the house and like lease it back to the seller. They want to close and then just give the keys. Okay. So if they were trying to do that, can the buyer wait 60 days and still keep the mortgage rate that they've already been approved in, meaning the lock-in rate? Like, explain lock-in rates to.
Yeah. So I think the question is like, at some point when you're applying for your mortgage, you're in that process, you do want to lock in your interest rate, right? You're locking it in, meaning you're basically setting that's going to be our interest rate, or that chart, right? That day's chart. There's actually a little bit of nuance there. But you're no longer subject to market conditions, market movement, right? So you're basically locking in against market movement. You set it, forget it. You don't have to worry about big changes, especially upward changes. And so usually there's a length of period that you're locking, right? 30-day lock, 45-day lock, 60-day lock. Maybe somebody like Jimothy's doing new construction. Maybe he needs like a 6-month lock, right? Like those exist out there. But you have to know that when you're locking in, the lender is putting that into what they call a hedge. That hedge is basically a hedge against market movement, right? So you're saying, I'm setting the rate. If the market goes crazy, I'm guaranteed that rate still, right? So the longer the lock, the longer the hedge, the longer the period of time that you have to protect against market movement, it gets costly, right? It's expensive.
But what happens like if a buyer comes to buy Johnny's house, right? And Johnny goes, I'd love to sell you the house, Mike. I'd love to sell you the house. I agree to the price.
But I can't
and
close
everything,
for 90 days.
But I need to close for 90 days. And
Yeah.
you had no idea that when you were shopping for a home that you were going to encounter a seller like that.
Yeah.
How does that affect your mortgage rate or potentially impact your mortgage rate?
So you would have an option at that. So once you know a close date, let's just say that the close date is 90 days from today. At that point, as the mortgage professional, I'd say, okay, listen, if we want to lock in now at this rate, this is what the cost is. So say the 7% on a 30-day lock costs nothing, and 7% on a 90-day lock maybe costs 1.5%, right? So 1.5% of whatever your loan amount is, right? That could be $3,000 on a $200,000 loan, right? Something like that. So you're locking against that movement, but you're guaranteeing that you have that 7% rate. So the decision is whether you want to lock it in and pay the cost, or do you want to float? And so do you feel lucky? Really, right? Yeah. Well, do you?
So maybe,
right?
so
What are you
then
doing?
maybe a buyer would then go back to the seller and say, "Look, I'd love to give you the 90 days you want, but it's gonna." Let's say they're buying a $500,000 home, right?
Yeah.
So now it might cost them $7,500 to do that, 1.5.
Sure.
Right. So maybe they go back to the sellers and say, "I'd love to do it, but you're going to have to
Just
give
need a
me a
little help."
credit of $7,500 or something like that."
Yeah.
So I can lock in to give you the time that you need.
Or help me split the difference.
That's
or
interesting.
something
I
like
might put that
You
tool
could
in my toolbox. I haven't really
Yeah.
negotiated that way before.
So you can ask for the credit in any situation, right?
Yeah,
So
the question
is
is
like,
but,
so where are you going to spend that money? But if it's basically, let's just say we're a situation where you needed that buyer and that buyer needs that seller, right? Like they both want to make this deal happen. And you say, listen, I can only make it happen. I don't have enough cash to do this long-term lock. I don't want to risk market movement. So I want to lock it in, but this lock is costing me more money than I anticipated. So can you help out with that? And sure, you could ask for that.
Oh yes, I totally forgot. I saw the light blinking earlier. We got a call, Jimothy, right?
Yeah, JR's on the line.
Oh,
we were just
awesome.
talking about him.
Oh.
So he decided to give us a call. Hey, JR.
Is he calling to give us his best Irish impression?
I
Is that what he's doing?
I hope so.
He's going to give us the name of the
Yeah,
agent.
he's going to give us the name of that agent out there, probably.
Fantastic. What's up, my brother? How are you on this Saturday? Welcome on Florida Talk Real Estate.
Good morning, all. How you doing this morning?
All right. It was great meeting you guys yesterday, and your doggies.
Yeah, the doggies. Yeah, they missed you already.
What I like about JR and Maggie's house is that all their dogs are different. They have like all different types of dogs there. So bigger dogs, smaller dogs, all different types of mutt breeds, like mixes. So it isn't like, you know how some people, they only have labs or German shepherds or something like that.
It's like Caesar Milan with his dog.
Yeah,
pack.
it kind of is like
Right?
that. Yeah. They're all happy dogs. JR, thanks so much. What was the name of that agent yesterday? I can't remember. It was such an Irish name.
Was Sherry?
Oh, it was only Sherry.
Fitzgerald. Yeah, Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzgerald, not Fitzpatrick. Sherry Fitzgerald. That sounds very Irish to me.
Still does.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. JR, what was your experience of meeting you and Maggie meeting with us yesterday? Could you just kind of tell because there's people that listen to the show all the time that wonder, A, are we really the real deal? And B, what's it like when you meet with this one-stop real estate shop team?
Very, very professional. I mean, everything I expected, I got. Very informative. You gave us information that we never thought we'd get. We have a lot to do in the future. We've been muddling with it last night, but we have some more thinking to do. But we're definitely going to go ahead with you guys because the information, Jim, that you gave us yesterday, the comps in the area, the prices, the interest rates, everything that you gave us so much information that we can work with.
Okay.
And
that makes you
yeah,
feel good.
and me and Maggie were just like we were blown away with your professionalism. It just you were insane. You really were.
Well, insane. I agree with that part for sure. And Mike will agree with that.
The professionalism was right there. I mean, it was just incredible. It really was.
Yeah. The house is I'm really looking forward to sell that house. Somebody's going to be very lucky to get that house, and it's going to go really well whenever you're ready to do it. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, did you like the idea that we were able to do what's called a seller net sheet, where we have that computer program from Trident Title to actually kind of break down what you're going to pay for costs on everything and what you'll net in your pocket?
Exactly. That's what we were impressed with the most, because that's our goal. Our goal was to leave with a certain amount in our pockets to be able to purchase over in Ireland. So and you gave us those numbers, which was excellent.
Yeah, that's one of the really cool things about the Trident Title app for seller net sheets. You can actually put in there what you want to net in your pocket after all the smoke clears, right? After all the costs, the real estate commissions, the documentary stamp tax, the title fees, the searches, all of that. And then figure out, and you can put in there, I want to net and how much you owe on the mortgages, if any. And then you say, I want to net this. And then it'll tell you what you need to sell the house for in order to make that money. So we came up with a couple of different scenarios, and then we had a range of where we knew we needed to be.
Excellent.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So JR, I'm really looking forward to doing it when you're ready. We always do things on the owner's timeline, not our timeline.
Of course.
So whenever you're ready, we're there.
Definitely. We'll definitely keep in touch. We said, like you said, you're going to keep in touch with us.
Yep. I'll be giving you a call next week, and Monday I'll be sending out all the stuff that we went over yesterday.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Okay.
Guys, listen, you have a great weekend.
Thank you.
You too. And
Johnny, good to hear from you again, Bubba.
Yes, as always. We'll be in touch and give my love to Maggie.
I will. And you guys take care.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. 877-927-6969. Toll free. Be a part of the program. Questions, comments, concerns. You want to jump into the conversation at hand, you're always welcome. Remember, if you're not comfortable on the radio, you have access to the entire team. You can still dial the hotline, 888-973-7828. You can find that hotline at floridatalkrealestate.com. Your one-stop real estate shop. It's floridatalkrealestate.com.
Let's keep with the mortgage stuff because there's so much going on with that. So we were talking about lock-in rates and using that because there's a lot of sellers that when they want to sell right now, they need longer closings and it can affect the buyer. So understanding lock-in rates from a seller's perspective and a buyer's perspective can make a deal match better for the buyer and the seller without causing a lot of aggravation or grief or headaches or problems later on if you know what you're doing. The other thing, Mike, is I'm sorry, now I wanted to transfer over right to another thing, and now I'm not remembering what I wanted to say. I apologize.
I'm trying to think what you might have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I was trying to roll right over.
We were talking about credits, like asking for a credit for a longer lock for the buyers.
Yeah, but it was something. Well, let's go into first thing is to the down payment assistance program. I just want to go over a bunch of mortgage stuff. Okay. So with the down payment assistance program, what we've been seeing with that new Hometown Heroes 2.0 is about $10 million a week being used in that program. They only put $100 million in there.
Yeah, let's not
So
call it
we're-
Hometown Heroes anymore.
Well,
'cause
they
that's
call
why
it
it's-
Hometown Heroes 2.0.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Right. That's what
true.
they call it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's why it's 10 million a week now. Because it's
Yeah.
everybody.
Right. It's everybody now. So the money's getting taken away or eaten up pretty quickly. And I keep thinking of this guy, Donnie, that's been playing phone tag with us. Donnie's been thinking about buying a house forever. He finally came into the fold again. Looked like he was going to go forward, and he's kind of been too busy to keep in touch with us right now. And I'm afraid by the time he gets with us that there be no more 5% of the loan value available for him and other people.
So Florida Housing sent out an email this week basically saying they anticipate another 4 to 6 weeks of available.
That's
you know,
it,
for
4 to
reservation,
6 weeks.
which they're at 40 million. So if we're talking 10 million a week,
there it is.
Yep.
If you're not in contract, like you got to be in contract, right? You have to have a property, you have to have a close date, and the loan originator is reserving once you have that information, right? They do. I think you basically expected to close within 45 days of making the reservation. So yeah, if you're not in contract in the next several weeks, your chances of getting the best program, which is the Hometown Heroes 2.0, are you're running out of time to do that. Now that doesn't mean you can't still get down payment assistance.
Right.
But why would you go for the inferior program if you have the chance to do this? And
we also
if
don't know.
You have the opportunity.
We also don't know when this is going to be replenished. This is supposed to be an evergreen program. The details of how that gets replenished still haven't been released. But here's what we do know: how much is available, the rate that it's being used. So all you can do is assume that once it runs dry, there's nothing there for a minute. So yeah, time to act is yesterday.
It's really important that you act fast. And, we're set up and ready to go for anybody that wants to use our phone program. We're one phone call away to get it all done all in one phone call.
That's it.
Mortgage company, realtor, insurance company when you need it to buy the place. We've got everything, title company, we've got everything lined up.
Now, you don't have to use every aspect of the team.
Nope.
That is not a requirement. But at floridatalkrealestate.com, you have pros that work seamlessly together to make it nice and easy to have that team right there. But you're not obligated by any stretch of the imagination. I would encourage you to, but you are not obligated.
You want me to read you the line from the email about the replenishment?
Sure.
So it says, we anticipate Hometown Heroes funds will be fully committed in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Right. So that came out this week. It is not clear when additional funding may become available for this program, but it is unlikely this will happen in the near future.
Oh my gosh.
So I've heard somebody tell me the state legislature only meets once a year.
That's it.
And so it could be a year before it's refunded. I don't know. I feel like
they're definitely not holding a special session for that.
If they
No
did,
way.
they anticipate that this money would go. I mean, here we are a month. Yeah, we're 1 month since it came out, right? It came out July 3rd. Here we are August 5th. More than halfway through. If they didn't know that was going to happen, they had to anticipate that was going to.
Yeah.
So what was the idea here? Now,
you put a lot of stock in those people.
Just
way more than I'm comfortable doing.
Don't lose hope, though. There is still help available. It's just not the 5% number, right? So you can still, and there's these other programs will not run out of funds. And so, the biggest impact I think is like if you're a conventional buyer, like maybe you're forced to be conventional, maybe you're doing a condo or something. The interest rates under Heroes are very favorable compared to what they are. I'll give you an example, like standard. Fannie Mae under Hometown Heroes right now, 7.25.
Mm-hmm.
The other program, 7.75.
Wow,
so it's
half a
so
point.
it's a half a point.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a half a point.
That's a big number.
And that loses 5%. That's 5% of your purchase power right there.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit scary if that's your world. If you're a FHA borrower or VA borrower, then there's not that gap.
Right.
Might even be favorable. So we'll see if those rates maybe get a little bit closer. But if you're in the market right now and you're thinking like, yeah, I've been pre-approved, or hey, I should get pre-approved because I'm looking at homes, like you really do. And I don't want people to move like this is all caveat, like it's right for you, right? Like you're getting into a home that you want and a payment you can afford and all that good stuff. But if you need help with the cash, where you want help with the cash.
Right.
It's available now, but it's quickly going away.
Yeah, and you lay out all these really advantageous aspects. I think, unfortunately, there's probably a bunch of people that don't need help with the cash, but that's not the way it's laid out. It's laid out to like, you want help?
Yeah, and it is. That's also why it's going up so quick.
Right.
Not everybody. I mean, I'm doing loans for people who don't need the cash.
It's just a savvy move.
It's
right?
free money.
And the rates are favorable.
The rates are favorable. They made it like almost impossible to not.
Mm-hmm.
You're just crazy to not take advantage. I know take advantage sounds like you're doing something wrong, but you're crazy to not take advantage of.
You're using the programs that are available to you legally,
that
you're legally available to.
The other thing that a lot of people don't talk about, Jim, like we might see, like I think the down payment assistance in general, but this one specifically has put a lot more buyers, not a lot, but there's more buyers out there than there would be if they didn't have this help.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this program, when the fund dries up, like for however long that lasts, there may be an opportunity for the people who weren't not first-time home buyers, but have been in the market and they've been getting out-competed. Right. And so now there's going to be maybe some space there where like they can get back in and say, hey, wait a sec, I'm not getting beat out by these people who have extra cash.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still tight on my cash, but now I'm not getting beat by the other ones. They're not going to be in the market.
Give you a little help.
Yeah, it could be a little help for people who've been shopping, it's been a lot of people, it's competitive for everybody, right? Yeah. Especially at certain price points.
Let's go ahead and take the break. On the flip side, we're going to talk about inventory and what it's like being a buyer in today's market and the experience.
In this super competitive world.
Yeah, in a super competitive world. And it really is a tale of two realities. And going to Orlando, there was a lot of epiphanies I had up there that I just thought it was the same down here. It is up there. It isn't really. We're going to talk about a little bit of the differences in the buyer experience in Florida right now.
Mm-hmm.
And really give you some good tips and perspective if you're out there thinking you're going to buy or you're in the process of buying. Might be able to give you some pretty good insight as to what's going on right now.
Excellent. Good information always to be consumed. 2 hours of infotainment is what we offer you. So if you're doing your math, we got another hour for you on a Saturday. Great to have you with us. Thank you for making us a part of you every Saturday. Always remember, Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com, your one-stop real estate shop. You got access to the entire team. These are pros, experts in their field, and they do work cohesively together. It's amazing. You just pick up the phone. You can see Jim reach out to Mike, get answers, reach out to Ross, the entire team. They're a phone call away. And man, it is valuable when you got a team working for you to buy and sell your property. You're stuck with a home. You don't know what to do with it. Or maybe you're just like, I need help getting in a position to make this a reality for me and my family. Remember, Florida Talk Real Estate.com. Know it, use it, love it, and share it. 4 minutes from now, we're back at it. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
Because your pets are pretty lonely when you're gone. Tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
You can dial it up if you'd like to be part of the program. Questions, comments, concerns, you want to get involved in the conversation at hand. 877-927-6969. Jimothy will answer that up. You make the call, we'll take that call. How are you, Jimothy?
Doing mighty fine. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Johnny C., that's me. Your old buddy, your pal, your air traffic control on a Saturday. Mike Rauch with us, starting the important people. Mike Rauch, that's the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm.
I was wondering where that was going.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of fluff. Yeah, actually, I should say Jimothy's the
you're controlling the traffic, bro.
Yeah, nah, that's just people just shoot by. They don't even pay attention.
It's like that. What's that video game? Have you ever seen those? Like where people are flying and you got the guy. It's like a flight simulator type thing or a fake world. But the guy's trying to run the tower and nobody listens to him, right? Have you seen that?
Like a sim type game?
Yeah, exactly. But they're like flying. I'm like, they got weird, there's helicopters with jet engines, like just like weird stuff, but nobody listens to the tower.
That's funny.
They get so frustrated.
That's pretty much my world. Yeah. Whether I'm on the radio, at home.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at home.
Gave that up a long time ago. Yeah. When's the last time you were single?
It's been a while.
Yeah. That's last time you had any shred of control.
I'm going to be married 11 years on August 26th.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what'd you do for the 10th? Anything crazy?
What did we do for? I don't think we did much. We do stuff throughout the year.
Yeah.
We don't really focus on the day. We focus on the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So like Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, anniversary. We're like, okay, nice, that's good. Because we like.
I'm lucky. I'm in a situation. I actually don't even have an anniversary. Right?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it right now.
Right? Yeah,
I don't even think about it.
I do feel a little guilty. Like, should I just have a day that we celebrate? Something. I know the day that we met,
right?
But we don't have an official anniversary, so I can always fall back on that. Be like,
the day you met?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why? How do you remember that?
I just remember the date. It was close to my birthday. It was like a week after my birthday. And so I just,
okay.
Like I remember meeting my wife.
Yeah.
But she ran Connecticut School of Broadcasting. So like the day I met her was my first day at CSB.
Really?
When I walked in there to like do my little application and stuff, I was like, who's the hot piece of tail at the
Right.
desk? And how old is she?
And she's like, who's this future radio
Is she
star?
legal? I remember her. She was there when I was there too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
And
remember that.
yeah. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, Jimothy's very important because without Jimothy, nothing happens on this radio station. Mike Rao, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm,
Good morning.
very important part of the team. And of course, Jimmy D, our fearless leader, Jim DePola, runs the top producing Keller Williams team, Keller Williams Innovations. You'll find the Florida Home Pros team, Jimmy D.
Yep. We still got an hour left. So if you got any real estate questions, give us a call, just like JR, who just called a little bit ago, just to say hello.
Yeah.
But give us a call if you have any questions. You know, it is a
I remember
confusing
when I met
market
Jim,
right now.
by the way. I remember the day I met Jim.
No, you don't remember.
I do.
What day was that?
You were coming in to talk about doing an article on our paper.
Oh,
in the
okay. You
paper.
do remember. I
Yeah.
thought you were thinking of the meeting when we were trying to do
No.
the radio show. You do remember that.
Yeah.
You do remember that. I remember that very well.
You wrote
too.
an article in like
my last
City
article,
City
Link.
It was magazine about real radio.
It was
Yeah.
the last article I wrote in my real estate in my newspaper career. It was like my 3,000th article published.
It was a pretty substantial article too. This wasn't like little
Big cover story.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were doing it, they didn't want me to do that story. It was the last story. I figured the last story I was going to write for me. And I always wanted to meet the Love Doctors because I was such a big fan of real radio. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go do a profile of the Love Doctors. It's at that time, it was a lot of times ranked number one. It was usually in the top four.
Always men 25, 54.
Yep, men at 25 to 54 is ranked number one. And we were in a top 50 radio market back then.
Yep.
I don't know if we still are.
Still are.
And they were like, it was crazy. There was a lot of radio stations down here, and we were ranked number one. And I wasn't part of it.
You're part of
then.
the we, yeah. Hey.
So Real Radio, and I was like, hey, I want to go meet those guys. And Josh Cohen and the home team,
Yep.
and your
Nights
show
on
at
Real
night,
Radio.
Nights on Real Radio.
Yep.
I wanted to meet everybody. So I got to hang out there for a week, but the paper didn't want me to write this story because they didn't want me writing a story about two old white guys, meaning Dr. Rich and Dr. Glenn. They thought it wasn't good for their demographic ratings for their newspaper. So we had to focus on something that was going to work. And when they found out that
Jason was producing.
that Jason was the producer, and I think he was 19 years old at the time or 20 years old.
Probably 21. at
Yeah,
that
something
time.
like
Yeah,
that. So they
just
go,
21.
let's focus. They're going, you're telling me that the producer of the number one radio show in a top 50 market is like 20 years old? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, focus on him and do it through him. So we did this story, and we described Jason at the time as a wonderkind. And
Was he, or did he just fall
Dr.
into it?
Rich talked about that all the time on the show.
What was it? What'd you ask?
I said, was he a wonderkind, or did he just like fall into it?
Yeah, no, he totally was. And it
Yeah.
was it like a neo punk. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
what you
that's
described
right.
him as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember how. And then, and now what is he doing now?
Now he's
He's
like
our boss.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the boss of everybody
Yeah.
now.
So because Jason, for those that listen to Love Docs for a long time, Jason went with Lex and Terry
Mhm.
in Texas, and then he went up to Cleveland,
Yep.
where Rover is.
Rover Morning
right
Morning
at that
Glory.
radio station. He was like their like a music director up there, and
Mhm.
spent some time up there, and you know his life has evolved massively. Now back in Florida, back where kind of things started for him.
Yeah.
On well, now he's a corporate bootleg.
Yeah. When he came when I haven't seen him since 2005 when I wrote that story. And then when he came down here, he's in charge of everything. We were not in studio yet because we got kicked out from COVID. And he came in and he was total corporate. I mean, he was
Totally.
great, but he was corporate.
Used,
He's like,
used to be one of us, and now he's one of them.
he was like, you're getting back into the
Timothy's awfully quiet. Right
Yeah, he was like, you're getting back into the studio right now, like yesterday. We need you back in studio. I'm like, well, I got to set up all the camera equipment and everything. He's like, no,
Nope.
you got to come in the studio right now. I wanted to come back to studio. I'm glad we
Sure,
did. It was
absolutely.
way better than the
Mhm.
Zoom.
Way better. Sounds better. Everything's better.
I'm
And then
glad.
Jason also does mornings on Gator. With
Yeah,
Franny.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he's doing great. I wanted to talk about something, Jimothy,
Sure.
and this is a new construction story. And you're
Ah.
kind of be very interested in
right.
this since Jimothy is going to be new construction. By the way, if you need a 2-2 with a 1-car garage, anytime in the next 2 months or so, but not move in for at least 60 days, you got to give us a call because Timothy's house is going to be coming on the market soon. We don't have it on the market yet because we're waiting to time it with the new construction build he's doing right now. And it might be done earlier than we think, but we're not sure. So if you're looking for a 2-2,
it's like 10 days where we went from dirt to walls are up.
You're like,
What just happened?
it's like,
I
what
blinked.
happened?
I
Wait a
blinked.
second. Is there some sort of celebrity premium selling that home? Do you think you can get a boost?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for you, Mike, we're going to charge $400,000. So,
why don't you do a giveaway on the radio?
oh, like
yeah,
remember we almost did it. Oh, you weren't around back then, but we actually talked about auctioning houses as a raffle.
Right.
We were going to talk about that, and Paul Krasker from the law office, Paulie Krasker, was like, "Don't do that, Joe." He's like, "You're not doing that. No, you're not." Thank you, Paul. Thank you for saving my butt once again.
I'll keep my ideas to myself.
We had a hard enough time giving away iPads.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to talk about what happened to Anthony because this is a very good lesson for people thinking about new construction. New construction is still a very big chunk of the market right now because we don't have enough new construction, and that's why our inventory is so low. But this guy, Anthony, he went out to one of the developers. I'm not going to name it because I'm not trying to beat anybody up, but this is a really important lesson for people to learn. Anthony went in. I think he was represented by an agent. I'm not clear on this because he said my agent didn't do a good job. So I don't know if it was the agent for the developer or if he brought in his own agent. But they went in to look at new construction at a very well-known development down here. When they put the house under contract, Mike, this is about locking in. Okay. They use the lender's financing so they can get the discounts from the lender, the builder's discount.
Lender. Yeah.
So they use the builder's preferred lender. They were supposed to close about 2 months ago, and they didn't. The lender did not communicate with the homeowner at all through that whole process, and the interest rates went up a lot.
Yep.
The owner, the buyer was not sophisticated to understand what was happening to him.
No.
And by the time that they got to the closing, he could no longer afford the house. They kept his deposit and sold it to somebody else.
Yikes.
$25,000 bill he lost. He lost $25,000 deposit on the new construction home, didn't get the home, lost his $25,000. The developer, he kept trying to go back to the developers and saying that he would take some of the money back, not all of it. They wouldn't give him a dime back. Now, here's the interesting part is that when I say he couldn't qualify for the financing, I should take that back. That isn't correct. He felt he couldn't afford the loan. But the lender said he could. And he's like, you can qualify for the loan. So that's why they didn't give him his deposit back. And he goes, I can't afford this mortgage payment. It was $700 a month more than what he was budgeting when he bought the home. So it went up $700. Now, I'm sure part of that was insurance a little bit. Some of it was probably interest rates.
Probably they could have even got the property taxes wrong.
Didn't know his numbers.
Remember, a lot of time you look at property taxes, and if it's on vacant land, if you don't have to be super sharp lender, but your lender should be saying, wait a second, that's a very low property tax. What's the formula we use to calculate what the taxes are actually going to be?
Mm-hmm.
But especially the longer term new construction. Remember these contracts, and had he even had a professional help him, I don't know that they don't change these parts of the contract, but one of them is every contract will have some sort of financing contingency, right? So you have your some time period where you can apply for and get conditionally approved. It's not the final clear close, but conditionally approved for your financing.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a buyer, you want that date, where that contingency is waived or your protection is kind of waived. You want that date to be as close to your close date as possible.
Right.
Not as close to the beginning of the contract, but as close to the close date. But of course, the new construction builders, they want your financing contingency to be over and done with
in a week,
as soon as possible.
Yeah, fast. Even though you're not closing for 9 months.
9 months. They want your financing contingency, and they want you locked in, and they want the ability if you don't perform, hey, we're going to take that skin in the game. We're going to keep it.
Mhm.
And so it sounds like, and I've seen builders like, if their lender, let's say the lender screwed up, there was lack of communication. Yeah, they were qualified before, but interest rates have gone up. Clearly, there's a problem. They don't qualify. But I was going to say something's funky here if they kept the full 25, because it sounds like they're saying he did still qualify. He just didn't
want to pay that much
Yeah.
money. Now,
Yeah.
here's about the realtor part, okay? Because he brought it up to me. I didn't bring it up to him. He actually said, I'm really upset with my realtor because she didn't tell me about any of these clauses. Because
Yeah.
once he started going to the contract to figure out how he can get himself out of this jam, he found out that it was ironclad and there was just no way.
Pretty much.
And I was just explaining to Jimothy, when Jimothy did his new construction, we talked about whether or not he should have a review with an attorney.
Right.
And we wanted him to go to Paul, but Paul actually happened to have represented the developer that Jimmy is working with. So he couldn't, and he kind of told us, you can go ahead and have it reviewed, but they're never going to change.
They don't adjust it.
But
yeah.
I still feel it's important, and I told this to Anthony, I still feel it's important as a realtor to tell people, maybe you should go ahead and pay for an attorney anyway. You're not going to be able to change the terms, but there might be something in there that makes you uncomfortable, and you'd rather know now than to happen what happened to Anthony.
Yep.
So Jimothy went to an attorney we know, Tom, and it was kind of it was pricey. I was like, ooh.
Worth every dime, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Jimothy had no problem.
Yeah.
And it was worth it. And he went over some of this stuff, like this is what will happen if that happens or this
Exactly.
happens, right? And
I was on the phone with him for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
For an hour. Yep.
And you knew exactly.
He went over every detail of the contract. I don't even know how many pages it was, 20, 30 pages worth of legal documents, because that's what it all is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went over every single clause, every single page. I knew exactly what we were getting into. There were even some things in there that I didn't care for, but there isn't much you can really do.
You could ask them to change it, but they probably aren't going to change it.
They're not, but
Right.
at least you know.
Yep.
At least now you know. Now, Anthony, because he didn't do that and nobody recommended he should do that.
He's surprised now that they're going to try and keep his money.
He's jammed up. Now he was trying to, and so we're going to get him over the law office of Paulie Krasker on Monday. And, but he said that the deal fell apart, quote, a couple of months ago. So I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to do the Hail Mary pass, see if Paul sees there's any hope that Anthony can get unjammed up.
Yeah.
And I said to Anthony at the end, I said, next time, when you go to buy a house, what realtor you need to be calling to make sure you don't get jammed up like this again.
Right.
So just like
if
if you're thinking about new construction, you have to understand that the developer, they might be a great developer, they might build a great house, great community, everything, but they're not your friend and they want to make money. And the lenders are going to do everything they can to make sure that deal closes. And that's what I'm wondering. It's almost like I wonder if Anthony, if they told him he can get the loan through their lender, their in-house lender, and then Anthony went to like you too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they went to you and they went check financing. And let's say that you said, no, you can't afford this loan based on you can't qualify. And then they went back to the developer and said, my guy says I can't qualify and I don't want to use your financing anymore. I wonder if he could have got out that way. But
technically, no, because his financing contingency is gone, right? It's already come and gone. So he already got pre-approved. He already got conditionally approved. If he didn't get conditionally approved and he didn't cancel, the period's still over, right? Like
he got approved
period.
where the mortgage payment, just so I understand it, he got approved with the mortgage payment $700 a month less.
So the whole point is like you have up to a certain date to get it done. And then after that, you no longer are protected. You no longer have that contingency. So it doesn't matter if the market changes, right?
Yep.
It's like you just no longer your performance of the contract is no longer contingent on being able to get a loan.
So don't do that.
Now,
okay.
And this is a unique, I don't know how unique it is, but it is Florida specific that it's done that way. There's other states, Jimmy, where they basically say, if you can't get your financing all the way up through the close date, if you just can't get a loan, then you're going to get your deposit back. Right. So there's some states where they actually protect buyers in that way. Now, is that unfair because buyers can basically maybe manipulate the system and say, hey, I need a loan denial, right? All the way up to the last minute.
And they sold that house, he said, like that. It went so
That's
fast.
the other thing that would kill me if I was in his shoes, because not only are they keeping the money, but they turn around and sell it, maybe even sell it for more than he was buying it for. And so it's like it's a little bit slimy.
Yeah.
I'm curious who that builder is. But
you know that builder. It's
Yeah.
right around the corner from you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so
it's
yeah, so just be careful. Just be careful when you're doing new construction. This is just another reason people think, what do I need a realtor for if I'm doing new construction? They got the realtor, they're going to do everything. And there's a lot of stuff that the realtor can't, isn't like if you're doing a resale, they can't do as much, but they can be there to have your back.
What's the nuance with your personal realtor when it goes to new construction, like these, big developments? Isn't there some like trick where you have to?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
How does that work?
And here's another thing.
Don't sign their guest book or something.
Yeah. So
stupid?
here's the other thing. When you go into the new developers, they almost always ask you to sign something with a name and phone number and email contact, even if you're not buying that day or anything. And they're not going to ask anything. They're basically usually just going to ask you for that information. If you give them that information, any information that identifies you, and you don't say, I'm working with a realtor, I'm represented by a realtor. Let's say you go there and then 3 months later, you're coming back into the community again. And now you have a realtor, but now you're serious about buying. Before you're just looky-looing. Well, there's a lot of the developers will not work with that other realtor and say, no, you came here without that realtor originally. We were the procuring agent.
Yeah.
It's called procuring agency.
Even though you're just there looking around.
I'm
looking
just
signing
around.
your book because I'm here.
And so don't do that. If you're thinking you're going to use an agent, new construction or resale, when you're going to new construction, you should let the new construction people know that you're working with an agent. I always give a bunch of extra business cards to my customers if they're thinking new construction, because what happens is a lot of times it's a Saturday, it's a beautiful day out, they're feeling really happy. It's like, hon, let's go look at some places. And they're thinking, oh, let's not call Jim. We don't want to bother him. We're just going to go look.
We're just going to look at the models.
And then they call me back later. And this has happened twice a couple of years ago, Mike, 2020 and 2019, where they didn't tell me they had gone to the community once before, and then we were blocked out. And they go, "No, you can't be the agent.
You're getting unintentionally cut out."
Yeah,
right. And
it doesn't feel like anything you should be conscious or wary of. I'm just going to look at the models. I'm signing their gas book.
Yeah,
it's hard because you hate to put the burden on your buyers, but let's just, as a professional in this world, Jim, if you're doing work, like everyone knows, we don't get paid unless something closes, right? So a real estate agent could be they're working for you with the expectation of compensation at some point, but they're actually doing work, right? Same thing with mortgages. Right. And if you have a real estate agent working for you, it's like just the decent thing to do, Johnny, is to make sure that they're somehow going to get compensated.
Keep them in the loop,
right?
Too,
So
right.
It's unintentional, but hopefully your agent's talking like, hey, if you end up, we're shopping, like we're out there looking at resale. If you end up new construction, please just make sure you know that you have an agent, and it shouldn't like influence your deal, right? Of course, the builders would love to sell the home at the same price and not have a real estate commission involved, of course, versus having one. But you've got somebody who's been working for you, right? And so, the decent thing to do would be to make sure that you're including that agent.
So
but
first thing I said, I have a realtor.
The other thing is like, so Jimothy, and very, very common that new construction relationships with their lenders, they incentivize you to use their lender, right? Which makes sense. And sometimes like, 10,000, 15,000, whatever it is towards features or costs or whatever, that doesn't mean you have to use that lender. It might make all the sense in the world to use that lender, but you can always, as the time approaches, as you're approaching your close date, 30 days. And I know, Jimothy, we're going to be looking at this too. I don't expect anything, but I want him to use me as a backup to say, hey, listen, here's what my rate looks like with them.
Right.
Here's what my costs look like with them. Are they still competitive? Like, does this make sense? And is it still worth the incentive that they're offering me?
Right.
And so you can use another lender, a professional, who's just going to take a look at it and say, yeah, actually that rate looks good. You're fine. The costs aren't crazy. Yeah, do that. Right. An honest one. I would tell Jimmy that all day long.
Well, that's
you
what
do that with lots of people, not just Jimothy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I could also say, hey, listen, you're about a half a point higher than you should be on the interest rate. That's going to cost you X amount over X amount of time. Is it really worth the 10,000 or whatever it is that you're getting as an incentive?
It
And
actually
you
is
can
costing
look at
you
it.
more money in the long run, right? So
Yeah,
that scenario could exist.
Yeah, you might be saving $10,000 in closing
Yeah.
costs, but $35,000 in extra interest paid over the time of the loan
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
and so there's no obligation to use their lender, although it may be conditional to get the incentive. Right.
So just be careful on the new construction. Okay. Here's something interesting. St. Lucie County, right? There is an article coming out about why St. Lucie County people should maybe consider about moving to St. Lucie County today, mostly because of affordability.
Oh, I know a 2-bedroom that's going to be coming up here.
Yeah,
pretty
2
soon.
bedroom,
Yeah.
2 bath right
St.
there,
Lucie
right?
Yeah.
Close to Turnpike N95, a great backyard.
Centrally located.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So I thought this was kind of interesting. So Palm Beach County has like I think it's like 1.4 million residents or something like that. Broward County has like 2 million, and I think Dade County has 3 million, something like that. St. Lucie County only has 352,000 residents. I was surprised about that, how small. And
When you're up there, it feels like a
since
million.
20 since
yeah, but the thing is, that's doubled in what, about
yeah,
15 years?
Well, not really. That's what I wanted to show. In 2014, so if we have 352,000 people now in 2014, what do you think the population was in 2014? So that was what, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
9 years ago, actually. 9 years ago.
Knock about 100 off of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that much because I was living in Port St. Lucie then.
You left. You exited this.
Yeah. We spent more to live in Palm Beach County.
I can't even come up with a number. I have no idea. So
I'm not-
I want to say
so
it's more
over
than
that
half.
over that 9 years, only 60,000 net people moved to St. Lucie County.
Net-
So we
a
were
net
at so we
increase.
were at 290 in 2014, and now we're at 350. I thought that was a very small amount. 60,000 people over 9 years, considering how many people we've placed from Palm Beach County and Broward County into St. Lucie County, just us, over time for affordability. I was surprised it was that small. What does that come out to? 9 divided by 60. 9 times 6 is 54.
Yeah.
So we're talking less than 6,000 people a year net over the last 9 years, and I just found that to be kind of low.
Are the I wonder, the people moving out of St. Lucie, are they going slightly north for affordability, or are they coming down?
Are you talking about the people in St. Lucie County?
Who are moving out. Like Johnny came down.
Yep.
That
at a good time though. You came
well,
down.
a lot of St. Lucie
there was
people are now
affordability.
looking at Indian River.
So they're
right?
going slightly north.
Yeah, because it's a little cheaper up there. Not everywhere in Indian River, but there are pockets that are cheaper than St. Lucie. Also, a lot of people are saying St. Lucie, they feel like the makes me laugh because it's buried down here. It's not bad, but everything's relative.
changing.
Yeah, it's changing. So they don't like the traffic in St. Lucie County, and they're thinking Vero's a little better, right? But here's a couple of interesting things about this. 75% of people in St. Lucie County own versus rent, which is a much higher. They don't have all the percentages, but I know that's a much higher percentage than in most of South Florida. So 7.5 out of 10 people are owning up there versus renting. Now their average income up there is only like 63,000 a year. Down here, it's closer to 80,000 a year for a single person. And now here's the big thing is that the median sales price for a single family home in St. Lucie County is $380 versus $625 in Palm Beach County.
Right.
Big difference, right?
Yeah.
That's why people are really starting to look there. Now, if you're going for the longer play, one of the areas of St. Lucie County that I would seriously consider wouldn't necessarily be just St. Lucie, but Fort Pierce. Fort Pierce has a lot of potential going on right now, and if everything happens, and a lot of stuff is already broke ground up there. They're putting in a Marriott on the waterfront. That's a boutique Marriott, like a high-end boutique Marriott. They're doing some stuff down on their waterfront, and then over by the Turnpike 95 area that merges up there at Fort Pierce. I keep hearing that they're building that gigantic surf water park up there, but I don't know how far along it is, because when I look online, I can't find a lot of articles about it. But people say they're about ready to go there with that surf park. That could be huge for that area. That could be a really big draw.
Fort Pierce is still St. Lucie County, right?
Yeah.
St. Lucie, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, versus Port St. Lucie.
Versus this Port St. Lucie.
Got it,
yeah.
got it.
So that's an interesting area. It's very affordable, which got me to think, let's go ahead and take a look at homes in Broward, Palm Beach, and St. Lucie County just to see what's going on with that. So there are 16 homes that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family homes, detached homes, 3-bedroom. Oops, sorry about that. I did something wrong here.
Florida Talk Real Estate is a.com, your one-stop real estate shop. You got access to the entire team. These are pros at floridatalkrealestate.com.
So at a price point of $250, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach with no other criteria, just 3-bedroom, 2-bath, not more than $250. How many do you think are in Broward, Palm, and Dade total?
Not more than 250?
Yeah, not more than 250, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family
Didn't
home.
we do something like this last week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
but
like
I just
6.
want to show.
It's like 8.
11.
Yeah.
11.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the 3 counties. Okay. Now, if you go to Port St. Lucie, how much do you think they have in that county? 250 and under, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home. 11 for the 3 counties.
Yeah. 126.
Yeah, I was going to say like 150 something.
Here's the surprising part: 14.
14.
14
Yep,
of
at
what's
250 or under. Can you imagine? Right?
Well, go to
isn't that
300.
that's surprising, right?
Yeah.
So then that got me trying to see, well, how affordable is St. Lucie
Are you
County?
including the western Palm Beach County?
Yeah, this is all Palm Beach, all of Broward, all Dade. 11.
I'm thinking out towards like the
Okay.
lake, right?
Yes, that's including out there too. That includes Belglade, Pahokee, South Bay, right? So now St. Lucie County, that got me thinking. So I went into St. Lucie County and I went and closed sales by price. So here's kind of interesting. There was only one home sold in St. Lucie County for July that sold between 50 and 99.9. One. Okay. There were 6 between 100 and 150. These are closed sales. 9 from 150 to 200. 20, 200 to 250. 59, 250 to 299. Okay, now we're starting to get there a little bit. 300 to 400 is 214. And then 400 to 600 is 205. Okay, so that's kind of, and a million or more, 10. Right now in Palm Beach County for the same stats, when you get to 300, here's the thing I find interesting: single family home 300 to 400, 164 closed in Palm Beach County, and in St. Lucie it was 214. So there wasn't that much difference between the 2 counties, especially population-wise, if you take that in consideration.
That's from
not a big
300 to
difference.
400,000?
Yeah, so 164 in Palm Beach County, 214 in St. Lucie County. Where the real numbers change is where you go from 400 to 500. 400 to 500 in Palm Beach County is 402, and in St. Lucie County, it's 205. So it's almost double the
Houses
sales
at that price point.
right? Because that's more common in Palm Beach County. So it just shows you affordability between the 2 counties.
Well, again, median in Palm Beach counties, we got a 6 in the
Yes.
first number.
Which reminds me, both of Muriel's houses that will be coming on the market very soon, which are really nice, affordable homes. They're both in the 400,000 range. They're both 3-bedroom, 2-bath. One has a pool. One doesn't have a pool, but a great backyard. And they're both what I call in the honey hole area. And what I call the honey hole is they're very close to Becker Road. So they're close to 95 and the Turnpike. And you could just hop on there and scoot down to Palm Beach County pretty quick. and it shaves off about a good 20 minutes, maybe sometimes 25 minutes on your commute. And if you can buy a single 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home for $450 or under with a pool in St. Lucie County, and you can't touch that in Palm Beach County in the same condition for $150,000 more, maybe the extra commute is worth it to you.
Oh yeah.
So you should really think St. Lucie County if you feel like you're being priced out. Another area that you could go to if you feel like you're being priced out is single family homes. Now this is a little bit of a different type of lifestyle, but it's Okeechobee. If you don't mind going a little far west and doing that east-west commute a little bit, Okeechobee has affordable homes. You can get 3-bedroom, 2-bath for under $350 in Okeechobee that are pretty nice. So those are two areas that if you really feel you want the single family and you can't get it in South Florida, those are two areas that you could hit up.
Beautiful. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. You got to know how to get to pros. People that are really good at what they do. That's why we're here every Saturday to let you know you have access to an entire team. These are pros, experts in their field at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
And don't forget, Jim has Mav is at a 350 home.
Thank you.
Right
I
now
forgot.
in Palm Beach County.
345, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Great home. It's got a brand new roof, newer AC. Really big backyard if you want to expand, and it's ready to go right now. Turnkey, ready to go. Really nice, cute little home. And 345 is the cheapest one in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So go grab it.
And wish you out there.
And she'll be there
today?
12:30 to 2:30 today. Thank you, Mike. I totally forgot to bring that up again. Here's an interesting thing, Mike, I wanted to tell you. I thought about this one, Mike. The best state to retire in is not Florida. New study finds.
State of bliss.
Guess what state is the best place to live for a retiree? Mike will know this.
Oh, so New Mexico?
No.
Wyoming?
Why would you think New Mexico?
That's where my grandparents retired. They loved it.
I thought your grandparents live in Iowa.
My dad's grandparents.
Oh.
I mean, sorry, my dad's parents.
Oh, I never really met them, so I don't know them that well. Okay.
They're both passed now, but yeah, they retired to Albuquerque back when it was a beautiful place. I love the Southwest,
Yeah, it is.
desert-scape
It's beautiful out
area.
there. But the number one state to retire, best state to retire, is not Florida. It's Iowa.
Oh,
now I
really?
laughed. Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I thought that was so funny because as soon as I thought about that, I thought about Alex, which is Mike's
Stepson.
Stepson. Okay,
Yeah.
I can use that term. I didn't want to.
Stepson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in real life, but not on paper, stepson. And Alex, when he went to Iowa to go to college to play rugby.
Yep.
And hated it so much that he quit college.
Yeah.
He came back down here because he couldn't take Iowa. He
And
just
listen, I
couldn't
love
take it.
Iowa, but I'll tell you, my living grandparents, my mom's parents, both of them living, they're retired, and they come to Florida for the winter. So,
right.
Not every winter, but they come down here to escape the winter up there. I mean, listen, winters in Iowa are pretty darn cold.
I can imagine.
Iowa is supposedly the 6th cheapest state to live in, according to bankrate.com. They say that crime is low.
Yeah.
That people are nicer.
Definitely good, polite.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Very
are,
nice
they
people,
are.
yeah.
I mean, even when you hear about like the political races and everything, a lot of the politicians mention specifically how nice the
How
people are out
lovely
there.
it is
So
in
they might
Iowa.
not agree with your politics, but they're not going to curse you out about it.
They're good.
They're going to be polite and
Yep.
open-minded about that.
Yep.
Whether you agree or disagree.
It should be.
And that it's a great place to live, I guess, if you can handle the cold and not be bored to death. Ha ha. Because that's what I
Well,
think
if you're
happens when
retired,
you're
you're
out.
like, I do my own thing anyway, right?
So if you're thinking Florida isn't it, maybe Iowa. So where does Iowa rank in the top 10 states? Because they are in the top 10. This is all according to bankrate.com. Okay, so where do you think where do you think Florida lands in the top 10?
What are we
Like
talking
what
about?
number
Just overall
of best place to retire?
Oh, we got to be up there.
Yeah, we're in the
Three?
top 10. We're
Number
in the
three?
top 10.
I think we keep pushing down and we just get more and more expensive, which makes it harder and harder to retire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we're like 7 now.
Pretty close, Johnny. 8. Okay, so
Wow.
listen to this. Look at all the states ahead of us. It's a little surprising. One of them's your dad's state: Iowa, Delaware, West Virginia, Missouri. Can you believe these are beating Florida? Mississippi, Wyoming, Pennsylvania, then Florida, then Hawaii, then Nebraska.
Hawaii, super expensive.
Yeah, it says best place to retire. Now, worst places to retire: Alaska, New York, California, Washington State, Massachusetts, North Dakota, Texas, which I was surprised about because so many people are moving there, Colorado, Maryland, Louisiana.
Colorado
Yep.
is worst.
Yep, that's what they're saying. So if you don't like it, call Bankrate. Don't call me.
I don't like whatever criteria they're using doesn't match up with my mental image of what makes a
It's-
retirement.
It's
you know.
still fun. It's still fun to talk about just to see what other people think about our area and everything, which gets us to the next thing I wanted to bring
We'll
up.
take a phone call real
yeah,
quick?
I forgot. I saw the
Don't
phone
forget
call.
your next thing. Sure.
Yeah,
We'll do that
I got it
after.
right here. Thank
Okay,
you.
we're not
Because
hating
I
on-
have a habit of doing
We're
that.
not hating on the states anyway,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Like I can see benefits all the. I was born in Missouri, Tim. So
I didn't know you were born in Missouri.
I was born in Missouri.
Wow.
Or what did you say? Missouri? You said something.
Missouri?
Isn't
funny.
it? No, Missouri, right? Missouri.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the state motto? For
Show me
Missouri?
state.
It's the
Show me
That's
state.
right. That's right. You would have loved it.
Show me. Dance off, dance off. Where were you born, Jim?
New York, and then I was there
what's the
until
state
my
motto
fifth
for
grade.
New York?
I don't know.
Yeah. And you're a Jersey guy,
I don't
right?
know.
Jim?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
you're
the state
that's
motto?
right. You're Jersey. That's
The
right.
Garden
The
State.
Garden
And,
State,
New York
right.
is the Empires.
I'm a New Hampshire kid. Live free or die.
Live free or die.
That's right, baby.
There it is.
Like
There you
real
go.
freedom, though, not this
Yep.
pseudo crap we call here in Florida. 877-927-6969. Who's on hold there, Jim?
We have Brooke on the line. She has a question about the real estate market down in the Keys. Brooke,
Oh,
welcome
good. I
to
was
the show.
Just talking about that with somebody. Hey, Brooke.
Hi, good morning.
Good. So what are your questions about the Keys? Because
So,
it's 120 miles long. So what part?
well, Upper Keys, the Key Largo.
Okay. And
So we've been looking for the last 3-4 years, and every time we say, "Oh, the prices are too high," they double. So we keep missing out on opportunities, and we have an opportunity now to buy a second home, and I'm terrified that we're buying at that tippy top of the market, and where will it go from here? Are we making a mistake, or do they just keep going up?
it's a great question. So yes, we are kind of at a tippy top of the market. We've been at a tippy top of the market, I think, for 2 years now because it keeps going up and up and up, like you're exactly what you're saying. So this is what I can tell you, okay? And I'm not a rah realtor guy, okay? So I don't, the Realtors Association gives us all these press releases and videos and stuff to talk about no matter what the market is, why it's always a good time to buy and sell. But I don't always believe in that. I know Mike specifically doesn't believe in that theory all the time. You should do what's best for you in the situation that you're in. However, if you're looking for a second home and you want an enjoyable experience because you're looking for a vacation home and have fun with it and everything, it's very important that you don't overpay. But what we can see right now, Brooke, is that I think since 2019. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I think in the last 8 years, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 8 years, like 2014, I think from 2014 until today in Florida, we have not had a negative depreciation year, not once. Now think about that.
Yeah, no depreciation.
Okay, we're already seeing that in other parts of the country right now. Some depreciation. It's starting to come back again. We had slight depreciation in some markets, and now it's starting to bounce back again.
Now, some people will view going from a 13% appreciation to a 4% as depreciation, but it is not. We're still appreciating.
We're still growing.
Right.
So, when we started the show, the average appreciation for the United States was 2 to 3%, and Florida was usually 3 to 4%. But because we've had such strong appreciation for so long now, that those stats, those averages have actually changed. Where now Florida's expectation of average is like 5 to 6% appreciation, which is very healthy. And the states are more like 4%, 4% for the rest of the country. So we're always a little higher. We just went through this last week and the week before, Brooke. So we had 1,400 and some odd sales in Palm Beach County last month. Okay. And I know this isn't the Keys, but it's going to be the same kind of thing. We had 1,400 sales. How many of those do you think were short sales or foreclosures out of
I'd say less
1,400?
than one, maybe one,
Oh, well,
maybe two.
okay. So you're actually too low, but it was
in the
like
ballpark.
8. It was 8 out of 1,400. Okay. So what does that mean? That means everybody's making their mortgage payments. Everybody could afford the mortgage they have right now. So as long as everybody's making their payments and we don't have any inventory, there's no reason for the prices to go down.
Well,
Except
that's one of the things. There's zero inventory there, and the minute that there is anything, let me clarify. Anything under $1 million is a double wide trailer.
that's
So
correct.
that's my
Yeah.
concern. Yeah, that's my
Mhm.
concern. That I know it's land value, but we can't afford to tear down and build, nor does it make sense. So we would be living in that double wide trailer and enjoying it, but will land value hold its value moving forward like that?
The only thing I think that would hurt the land value, and I'm not even sure of this, because when Ian hit down there, it was Ian, right? Was Ian the one that hit them, or was it Ivan? I always forget. Ian, 2017.
I think it was even Ian, yeah, and it did not hurt it at all.
Right. And I thought the economy was going to crash, Brooke, down there. Specifically, I thought we would have a bubble there, and a negative bubble, like it'd pop. Because remember we were talking, Johnny and Mike, about insurance churning back
Yeah,
then,
of
because
course.
what we had we had the hurricane insurance companies fighting with the flood insurance companies about whether the houses were destroyed by flood or insurance, and nobody was cutting checks.
Well, and then you
Wind
have
or-
the
wind or
elevation,
flood,
the
yeah.
elevation of what code is now. We're still dealing with it in Florida from the other coast from the
Mhm.
last storms.
Yep.
What the insurance is going to pay versus what it costs to put the new code.
Oh, and if the house got too damaged, then you had to build it where it was on stilts,
On
and you had to do
stilts.
completely
Right,
different kind of
right.
construction. So I thought this is all going to crash down here. I just thought, how could this sustain? And instead, it grew
the money always moves in.
exponentially
Yeah, the money will
because
move
the
in.
wealthiest people came in and swooped in and go,
That's it.
I'll buy that piece of junk home and build a brand new home in there because I just want the experience. So I feel like it's not going to get better as far as prices going down, but who knows if you buy a trailer and we get a really bad storm like we had over on the West Coast and it gets blown away, what they're going to do. We know that there's major water problems down there. They don't have enough water for people down there. The sewage systems down there is disgusting. I hate to say this, but they have more closures for the beaches and the Keys than any other part of the state for sewage just leaking into all the beaches, right? Because the septic systems are screwed up. So if we have another bad storm or a couple of bad storms, the county has to deal with those issues, and they might make things so restrictive that it can affect your property values over time. But when you're moving down to the Keys, it's kind of like moving to a place where there's an active volcano. Right?
You take
And you
that.
enjoy it for the
Yeah.
time you have it. And if it goes away, you say bye-bye and you move on. I mean, I know I'm being facetious here and I'm not trying to make fun.
That's what we're looking at. That's
honest.
what we're looking at. A few more years of enjoyable memories with the family before the kids are off, and then sell.
And-
Just because it's affordable to live there, to retire there. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and my advice to you is if you go ahead and do that, get the longest loan you can get. If you can get a 100-year loan, get it, because you're never paying off that house. You don't know how long you're actually going to be able to keep the house.
Well, that's. I
right?
mean, I was thinking, I don't think you can comfortably buy it now and then sell for profit in the next 3 years. Whatever she just said, a few years, sell for profit, right? Like,
Oh, I think she can do that
no, I'm
now.
not saying she couldn't.
Yeah.
But if you had to guarantee it,
No.
how much money are you willing to let on the line there? So my philosophy is always like, listen, if you're buying it not as an investment specifically, but a place that it's number one, you can afford it. Number two, you're gonna enjoy it. And number three, you can ride out the market. Like if you had to sell within 3 years, I would say that I would be a little bit scared of that. If you could sell sometime in the next 15 years, it's almost guaranteed you'll be able to sell for profit in a longer period of time.
Some cycle
Yeah,
in one of
yeah.
those cycles over that 15 years. But I think it's a little more optimistic because if you buy a house and you were to resell it immediately, it would cost you roughly 9%. Right? I've had people buy a house, have buyer's remorse, then call me up. I want to sell my house right now. I go, you only owned it for 3 months, right? Well, they need about 9% more than what they paid for to break even, right? So in the keys, 9%, that's 18 months, right now. So I don't think that you would have a problem that if you change your mind a couple years, as long as we didn't have a catastrophe,
right. Assuming everything stays the same.
you would be probably pretty safe. And if you're worried about the interest rates, if you're doing it for personal enjoyment, you want to go down to the keys and have fun and everything, and you could afford it, then you buy it because you know you're probably going to get appreciation. It's more likely you'll get appreciation than depreciation. Way more likely that's going to happen. And then you just wait for the interest rates. And if interest rates turn in your favor, then you refi.
Yeah.
Right.
And it potentially, if like when you're not there, can you make money off of the property? That's another thing you would consider. But
everybody factor that in there. The rent would be, I would still be a little bit of a loss, but at least it helps, offset the expense.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it sounds like you found something. If you didn't, I have a top agent, Sarah, down there that I love working with down there in the Keys. She actually does the upper Keys too. So if you ever need an agent to look for more inventory and stuff, she'd be a great asset if you haven't already zeroed in on a house, Brooke, if you want.
Well, I think we zeroed in on the house, but again, it keeps falling apart because either someone comes and outbids us all cash, which we're not, or it just doesn't appraise, or they find because it is, there are trailers, they have these certain requirements for lending, and they don't pass. But
yeah, they have to be a certain age, and you have to be a certain age and all that. Yep. So, but if you need help, we're here for you, Brooke. And thank you so much for calling in and talking about this. This is a fun subject.
Now, I have one more thing. So the houses that we're looking at specifically are on the water. I mean, those would hold their value much more, wouldn't they? Right? Because it's just limited water.
Yep. Until you see the little footprints on the walls that are 3 feet high from the raccoons trying to stay above the water inside your house. Because that's what I remember when I went down to that one lady's house. They were like the raccoon prints all over the walls because the water got so high. It was like 3 or 4 feet high. They were trying to stay above water.
Right.
And their muddy
we
paw
also
prints were on the walls. So that's what showed you how high the water got.
If you listen to certain news, we also have record high temperatures globally. Ocean levels are going up, so all of these things are things to think about.
Just use the loan. That's what I'm telling you. Don't buy cash. Use the loan. Use other people's money to buy places like that. Don't use cash.
Don't worry. I don't have that kind of cash. I won't be doing that.
Well, Brooke, thank you very much. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday.
Positive things. Go ahead and do it. Go for it. Is that bottom line? Go for it.
I think so.
If you enjoy it, you should go for it. And then do me a favor, go to the Sunset Grill and go get some food for me over there. I love going down to the Sunset Grill down there.
Yeah, and let us know how things come together for you. Have a great rest of your weekend, Brooke. Thank you very much. And always remember, Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com. If you need any member of this pros, this team's amazing. And man, is it unbelievable when you really, really need some pros, when you're like, wow, working with the best of the best makes things so much better. The experience between those two is a vast difference. Go with people are great at what they do. You could guess and hope that somebody or you're trying to give business to is as good as you like to think they are, or you can absolutely go to pros. Trust your boy, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. You get it all, the best of the best, and they work cohesively together. Jimothy, you gonna stick around? I think I see Greek running around. Yep. We got Joe. You guys gonna do some sports?
Yep, we got 4 hours of sports coming up, so don't go anywhere.
I love that. I'll be listening. Always
football's back.
Yeah, it is.
I know. I'm so
excited.
excited.
It's a big game today.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Right?
What's your big game today?
What's big game today?
Women's World Cup football.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
I thought you said football. Yeah.
Is it football? Is it football?
Oh,
yeah,
football.
Yeah, the football.
Actually, but the U.S. women is playing today, right?
Or is it Netherlands?
Like overnight tonight? I forget what it is, but yeah.
5 a.m., I believe.
Yeah, it's not the Netherlands, though, is it?
No, it's not.
Am I wrong?
I feel like
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
They got to get their
But it's a big game. No, they got to win.
It's going.
This is elimination zone.
Has to happen.
Let's go, U.S. ladies.
Jimothy, we'll be listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Take care. Have a great weekend, guys.
You too, buddy. Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. I hope you have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, everybody.
Always good to see you. And Jim DePola with the Florida Home Pros team. Keller Williams Innovations. Have an awesome weekend.
Thank you. Happy South Florida.
Well, man, we're
Sweden.
gonna do it again next Saturday.
Sweden.
It's Sweden.
Sweden. Okay.
Sweden. Let's go. We'll do it again next Saturday. Thank you very much for carving out 2 hours of infotainment. It's what we try to offer. Hopefully, we deliver every Saturday. But what I can deliver is your one-stop real estate shop. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Know it, use it, love it, and share it. We'll be back next Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday. It's Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.